So, in case you haven't heard, Sony have finally responded to the backlash. Or at least they're starting to make a conversation about the backlash. So in Financial Co. yesterday, or I believe it was today, Sony finally were asked about the backlash about physical games. And oh boy, if Sony thinks this is going to be received very well, they are going to be sadly disappointed, because I'm honestly expecting a lot of gamers to outrage when they hear about what they've said in the Financial Call. Because oh boy, if you were hoping for Sony to reverse this decision, you are going to be met with the most basically them tripling down on this idiotic decision that's going to really piss off the vast majority of the PlayStation community, and more importantly, the gamers who care about physical games. This is going to piss you off when you find out what they've said in this Financial Call. So let me just read you this idioticness in front of me that I've been reading in these articles that really just is so baffling to take into consideration. This is coming from Sony, a company that used to care about the players, who used to prioritize us when it came to consoles and games. This is coming from that company. So let me just read you what they said in this Financial Call, and you tell me if this makes any sense to you, okay? So, the response in question in regards to killing physical games, this is what they said. The statement in full reads as following. We announced that January 2028 onwards will no longer be manufacturing game discs, so 1.5 years ahead. So we made this announcement at this time. There are a variety of reasons why we made this decision, the biggest being that the digitalization of content overall has been progressing. That's the big factor. It's not just for PlayStation, but for all kinds of content. Digitalization is progressing. So when we think about the future and we put in a lot of thought and time, we are cautiously considering this, and we came to this conclusion. We're going to cautionarily move this forward. And to this decision, we have received a variety of opinions and people having strong views, and we understand that the community has put forward those views to us. Gamers are loved by many people. It's a form of entertainment and it's loved by people. It's connected to people's fond memories in many cases. So we understand those emotions. We want to consider that in a future of digital ecosystem. How do we engage the gamers is something that we would like to continue to explore. Well, do you know what this reads, ladies and gentlemen? This reads as them saying, we will look into the feedback statement that usually game companies say when they receive backlash in regards to a change or a controversial decision. That's literally what this reads as. This reads as, we'll look into the feedback. We hear your feedback sort of response. Really, Sony? This is how you're going to respond to us? After the amount of outrage that players have had about this decision of yours. This is how you're going to respond to us. You're just going to double down in this whole, we're looking into the feedback. And we respect our players. No, you don't. Do you know why you don't? Because you are pursuing a future where PlayStation Network has to be on at all times. PlayStation Network had an outage just last week. If that was permanent, no one would be playing digital games right now. There would be a massive and even bigger uproar in regards to why they couldn't access their digital games. And your solution to this problem is to just keep going with this digital future, even if the outrage gets worse over time. And the best part, there is no conversations in this statement talking about you trying to backtrack the whole removing 550 movies from people's libraries on the PlayStations, in their PlayStation libraries. There is no mentions of that in this statement. So I'm guessing that you're still going forward in removing players' content of films, which is kind of funny because IGN reckons that the last line of their paragraph seems to be hinting they may be giving us digital ownership. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that Sony are going to give us digital ownership of our games like we do physically. I refuse to believe that. And you know why? Because they haven't backtracked the removal of 500 films yet. And because they haven't backtracked on that decision, that's why I don't trust them when it comes to digital ownership. I will only trust them if the law makes them do it. Which is why I'm hoping that the lawmakers will force them to do it. Because then that way, I know for sure they are not going to do any shady shit that involves them taking my games away from me. Or any digital games I have. That's why I don't trust you, Sony, because I know at any point you will have the opportunity to steal my library of games out of nowhere, and I can't do anything about it. So don't give me this sense of hope that you're going to give us digital ownership. Don't try. Because you know you're lying. And we know you're lying because we've got proof all over the internet that you are desperate to remove content from people's libraries. So don't even try to sell me this idea that you're going to think about digital ownership. Until you solve that problem and until you're being forced to not make any shady decisions, I will not accept digital ownership from PlayStation until the law goes in. I just thought I'd put that out there because I refuse to have any digital ownership announcement from Sony unless the lawmakers finalise that decision and until they are being pressured by the law to make that decision. Because I know one thing's for sure, if they let Sony try to make the decision, they will do something shady. And I know they will. So I'm not going to trust them on it. But it doesn't stop there, guys. It doesn't stop there because in regards to the backlash, in regards to whether this is affecting their business, this is what they had to say, okay? And I know this is going to piss people off as well. They go on to say, at this point in time, we are not seeing any impact in our business, but going forward about the content sales, a large part is already digitalized, and therefore, as a result of the discontinuation of disc, we don't see that there will be any negative impact on our business. However, as I already said, the users and the players have attachments, so we have to think about how to respond to that feedback. Oh, really? So Sony wants to respond to the feedback, they say. Well, that's funny, because what's been happening in the last week, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, yeah, that's right. Sony tried to silence their own employees from speaking out. That doesn't seem like you responding to our feedback. That's kind of you silencing people within your company from speaking about the feedback. Which is kind of ironic, considering you're trying to say, oh yeah, we're trying to think about how to respond to the feedback, even though you're trying to silence your own employees. So don't try. Don't even try to give me this sense of, oh, we'll speak to our community eventually. No, you won't, because you silence your own employees. That's why I don't trust you. And In fact, most of the gaming community doesn't trust you. You know, heaven forbid. And then what's really baffling is that the Sony CFO even said that it's going to continue shipping physical game boxes in North America, which contains a digital code like GTA 6. Yeah, you heard me right. They are tripling down on this whole code in the box physical games. They are tripling down on it. If it wasn't bad enough that GTA 6 is adopting this system, they're now trying to get other games to adopt this system. And yet we're supposed to believe that Sony is listening to us, are we? And we're supposed to believe that Sony understands the feedback, are we? When they're still tripling down on this code in the box nonsense that has been introduced thanks to GTA 6. Really? This is how you respond, is it? I'm sorry to say this, guys, but I've lost all the respect in the world for this company. I really have. The way that they are dealing, the way they're handling the situation, the way they're responding is so childish. It really is. It's almost like I'm speaking to investors rather than people who care. That's what it feels like. It feels like this is a message for the investors, not a message for the players. And it's so tone deaf. This whole thing is so tone deaf. How can you make me believe that Sony would care about us when they're behaving like this? And I'm supposed to be happy about this. I'm supposed to be glad that we're having code in the box physical games, are we? I'm supposed to be grateful for this. This is bullshit. I'm sorry, but it is. Like, how can you and this is the part that goes through my mind, is the fact that this was the company that got me into their ecosystem years ago for physical disc games. This is the company that got me into their ecosystem because of the physical disc format of video games. And yet they believe that in 2027, 2028, whatever the next PlayStation 6 comes out, it's likely next year, but who knows? Either way, the fact that they believe that we need to progress to a digital future in 2027 because Sony is benefiting financially that way. Or one better, because the investors love to see this. Because it's quite clear that the investors are pressuring Sony into making this decision. Which I'm going to say this, if it really is the investors that are encouraging Sony to make this decision, I hope you really understand why gamers are upset. I hope you understand that you are the reason right now why a lot of gamers are losing trust in companies like PlayStation, Xbox, and maybe soon to be Nintendo if Nintendo follows suit. But yeah, don't be surprised if people start losing trust of the three big gaming publishers because of investors who keep ruining the landscape by suggesting these idiotic decisions that kill the hype for gamers. I'm sorry to say this, but the investors do not have any idea what physical games mean to gamers. They don't get it. If they did, they would have seen the videos I've done of my physical game collection. They would have seen every other person's videos about physical game collections. And they would have seen how important it is to us. But no, No, they don't. They don't look on YouTube because they don't give a shit about what's going on YouTube. They're too busy thinking about when their next check is going to go in their freaking pockets. I'm sorry if I'm raging, but it's just pissing me off that the investors keep getting away with this shit. They're the reason why this business is falling apart. And I'm supposed to be glad about all this. You know, I thought for once that they were going to be on our side for once. But no. There was no such thing as investors take the player's side. It's always the investors know best, apparently. No, you freaking don't. The gamers knew best long before you even came into this freaking business. Have some freaking respect for all the gamers who have collected games and have been loyal to these businesses for years and years. Have some decency. Instead of being so freaking greedy. Sorry, but that's really, like I said, it pisses me off that we have to hear articles after articles talking about, the investors said they don't want a physical games to be in the market. The investors said this needs to happen. The investors said this needs to happen. I don't give a shit. Give me physical games and keep it alive. If we could have CDs, we could have DVDs, we could have Blu-rays, I think physical games should still exist. It's clear that people want to own stuff. I thought that would have gotten through their freaking heads by now. But no. But no, it clearly hasn't. And it's mind-boggling that I'm listening to these idiotic thought processes going through these heads of these executives who do not understand how us gamers feel right now. I know I'm raging right now, but it just pisses me off every year, the same bullshit. And it's because of Sony and because of these investors. Now I'm having to juggle around my own gaming future. Because you're that desperate for money, I don't know where. I'm trying to figure out what the hell to do with my gaming and streaming future. It's so annoying. It's so annoying that I'm having to hear these articles every year, the same bullshit. I just want a year where I can have physical games existing, gaming can thrive for once, and we hear good news, nothing but good news. That's all I want. Why can't we have that? Why can't we have gaming like it was in the 90s when there was nothing but good news coming out? Why can't we? Why does it have to be greed, and freaking greed? I mean, you can understand how I feel, right? Because this has happened every year so far. Ever since the golden era of gaming came to a close, it's been nothing but greed. And I'm sick of it. I just want to be able to actually continue owning the games I love. That's all I want. I thought that would have gotten through some people's heads by now. But clearly it hasn't. It clearly is going backwards rather than forwards. But hey, it's fair. It's fine. I'll just move on from PlayStation soon enough. I mean, I've already made a commitment. I'm not going to buy the PlayStation 6. PlayStation 5 is like my last PlayStation console. I've already made that commitment. And I'm not going to reverse my decision. I'm not going to do a U-turn. I'm committed to that. Because I don't see how I should bother buying a PlayStation 6 if Sony can't understand what I want out of gaming. If they can't understand understand what I've just been saying the last 5 minutes, then I don't see why I should bother supporting them going forward if they can't understand my reasonable demands. But it's fine. It's fine. I'll just move on. It's fine. I'll just not be a PlayStation person anymore. It's simple as that. You know? I mean, I'm going to still be buying physical games over the course of the year. I mean, I still need to get me Black Ops 2, but I'll gradually get me that. And then, yeah, I'm just going to be doing a physical game shopping spree throughout the course of into the later half of the year, the build up to Christmas, even into next year. During the final year of physical games, I'm just going to be on a hunt for physical game purchases because I need to, because physical games are getting phased out at the end of next year, so I've got to do it. And it also sucks that Game in the UK may not be around next year, so I'm probably going to have to buy a lot of those games from CEX, Amazon, etc. But I think it's mostly going to be CEX and Amazon where I'm going to mostly end up buying a lot of those games. Maybe Shop 2 if they're affordable there at any point. But yeah, I think they're going to be the main shops I'm going to end up buying games after Game shuts down, if they do shut down the website, which is looking very likely. But either way, nevertheless, that's how I feel about this whole situation. I just feel that our communication's being lost each day. It feels like they're not listening. It feels like they're just doing the la la la, not listening bollocks. And I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of being treated like I'm a nobody by this company that got me in, that made me fall in love with PlayStation. I'm just done. I'm done with PlayStation. It's simple as that. I'm done. I don't know why I should bother supporting PlayStation going forward, because they're just treating me like I don't exist at the moment. So I'm done with it. Thanks for watching, and I have a physical game haul, or I guess haul I need to do a video of, but until then, I'll catch you guys in the next one. I've got some gaming videos to upload over the weekend, so be sure to look out for that, and hopefully Xbox can keep physical games alive, or at least give us some digital ownership. Fingers crossed Xbox will do that, because I want to be a full supporter of Xbox. I just need them to give me that digital ownership, and maybe even keep physical games to make me want to support them all the way. That's all I need. I need that sort of edging on right now. But anyway, I'll see you in the next one, guys.